Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to get ahead financially? Like you're stuck in a cycle where your paycheck disappears the moment it hits your account. If that's you, you're not alone. But here's the truth. There's one single habit, hiding in plain sight, that's silently draining your money and keeping you broke. And it's time we talk about it. In this video, you're going to find out exactly what that habit is, why it's so dangerous, and, most importantly, how to break it today. No fluff, no complicated strategies, just a real, actionable path to change the way you handle money and finally build momentum toward financial freedom. Have you ever told yourself I deserve this while making a purchase you couldn't afford, felt guilty after spending, but did it again the next day? You're not failing, you're following a pattern, and this video is here to help you snap out of it for good. You can work harder, take on side hustles, even cut back on spending, and still feel like you're going nowhere. That's because the real issue isn't always how much money you make. The problem is how you behave with the money you already have. And for most people, that behavior is being controlled by a silent habit they don't even realize exists. This habit doesn't show up as a massive expense on your statement. It's not a big, obvious problem like overspending on luxury items or gambling. It's subtle. It hides in everyday decisions. That $10 impulse buy, that dinner out just because, the monthly subscriptions you forgot about. And over time, these small choices compound into a massive financial leak. What's worse is that this habit feels normal. It's socially acceptable. Everyone around you probably does the same thing, which makes it even harder to recognize as a problem. But here's the catch. Just because something is common doesn't mean it's not destructive. In fact, the most dangerous habits are the ones we've accepted as harmless. When you're stuck in this pattern, you're always reacting instead of planning. You feel like your finances are out of control, not because you're reckless, but because your money is flowing in directions you never intended. It's like trying to fill a bathtub without realizing the drain is wide open. This video is about closing that drain. We're going to call out the habit, understand where it comes from, and give you real tools to replace it, so you can stop surviving and start building. Let's be honest, the habit keeping you broke is emotional spending masked as self-justification. You tell yourself I work hard, I deserve this, or it's just a little treat, or I'll save next month. But these small justifications become a financial death by 1,000 cuts. It's not one big mistake, it's 1,000 small ones, repeated over time. This behavior doesn't look like recklessness, it looks like reward, and that's what makes it so dangerous. Emotional spending gives you a quick dopamine hit, a feeling of relief, pleasure, or even control, in a moment when you're actually stressed, anxious, or bored. And because it feels good, your brain starts to associate spending with relief. But that relief is temporary, and the cost is real. Over time, you're not just wasting money, you're reinforcing a mindset that says, my feelings are more important than my future. And the more often you tell yourself that story, the harder it becomes to build wealth or make responsible financial decisions. This habit becomes automatic. You spend without thinking, you justify without questioning, and then you feel guilt or shame, which leads to more emotional spending to numb that guilt, creating a self-destructive loop that's hard to escape. But now that we've named it, we can begin to break it, because once you identify the real enemy, you can stop fighting yourself and start taking back control of your choices. This habit didn't come out of nowhere. It's deeply rooted in how we're raised, what society teaches us, and the emotional patterns we develop early on. Most people never learn how to manage money. They only learn how to consume it. From childhood, we're bombarded with messages that associate spending with happiness, worth, and identity. In many households, money is a taboo topic. You either grow up hearing that money is a constant source of stress, or that people who have it are greedy. Either way, you develop limiting beliefs like, I'll never be good with money, or I might as well enjoy it while I have it. These beliefs go unchecked, and they quietly sabotage you as an adult. Culturally, the problem gets worse. We're surrounded by marketing that taps into our insecurities. Social media constantly shows us curated lifestyles we can't afford but feel pressured to emulate. And when you don't feel like you measure up, spending becomes a way to feel enough, even if just for a moment. Emotionally, many people use spending to self-soothe. Feeling lonely, anxious, overwhelmed, buying something feels like doing something. It provides the illusion of control in a moment when you feel powerless. But long-term, it only deepens the problem. Now you're broke and stressed. Understanding these roots matters because it shows you this isn't a failure of discipline, it's a learned pattern. And what's learned can be unlearned. Once you stop blaming yourself and start recognizing the deeper source, you can break free. The consequences of this habit aren't just emotional, they're concrete and financial. First, it erodes your ability to build savings. No matter how much you earn, your bank account never grows. Why? Because you're constantly spending without a plan, reacting instead of managing. Second, it creates instability. You start the month hopeful and end it stressed. You rely on credit cards just to get through and rack up debt without a clear path to pay it off. The cycle repeats every 30 days, creating a life built on financial survival, not progress. Over time, emotional spending leads to chronic debt. You're not just paying for your present, you're still paying for your past, and that robs you of options. You can't invest, you can't move forward, and every financial decision becomes a game of catch-up. The impact goes beyond money. Financial stress spills into your mental health, your relationships, and your self-worth. You begin to internalize the belief that you're just bad with money, when in reality, you're stuck in a pattern that was never challenged. And worst of all, you stop dreaming big. You play it safe, avoid risks, and settle, because building wealth feels out of reach. But it's not. It's entirely possible once you fix the root behavior that's been bleeding your money in silence. Let's take a look at some real-life examples, because sometimes the best way to recognize a destructive habit is to see it in someone else first. Like Sarah, a 32-year-old marketing professional who always thought her problem was low income. But when she finally tracked her spending, she realized she was losing over $600 a month on food delivery, streaming services, and impulsive Amazon orders. It wasn't about how much she earned, it was how unconsciously she spent. Or James, a single dad who constantly bought things for his kids out of guilt. He believed giving them everything he didn't have was the right thing to do. But over time, those small purchases turned into maxed-out credit cards and missed bills. He wasn't providing more, he was creating instability. Once he faced that, he began teaching his kids financial discipline instead of trying to buy their happiness. Then there's Emily, who used online shopping as emotional therapy. Anytime she felt overwhelmed or unappreciated at work, she'd open an app, click buy now, and feel better. Temporarily, but her relief turned into regret, and eventually into financial stress that affected every part of her life. What started as a coping mechanism became a financial trap. In all these stories, the pattern is the same. The belief that small emotional purchases don't matter becomes the foundation of lifelong financial struggle. And the breakthrough came not when they earned more, but when they got honest with themselves about what was really driving their behavior. Maybe you see yourself in one of these stories. That's not a bad thing. It's a wake-up call. Awareness is powerful, and now that you see the pattern, you can start breaking it. So, how do you actually break this habit? The first step is to interrupt the automatic reaction. Every time you feel the urge to buy something you didn't plan for, pause. Just pause. Give yourself 24 hours. Most impulse decisions lose their power with time, and that space allows logic to step in where emotion usually takes over. Next, become curious about your triggers. What emotion are you trying to soothe? Are you bored, anxious, tired, or feeling left out? The moment you identify what's underneath the urge to spend, you begin to take back control. Instead of reacting, you respond with intention. Start tracking your emotional spending patterns. Write them down. It doesn't have to be complicated. Keep a simple note on your phone. What triggered the urge, what you wanted to buy, and how you felt after waiting. This process helps rewire your brain to recognize patterns and break them. Accountability also matters. Share your goals with someone you trust. Tell them you're working on being intentional with your money. Just having one person to check in with can double your chances of success. And remember, this isn't about deprivation, it's about freedom. Real financial freedom comes from discipline, not denial. Finally, remind yourself daily, you are not your past decisions. You're not bad with money. You just haven't been aware of this habit until now. And the moment you choose awareness, everything starts to change. Breaking a habit is only half the battle. The other half is replacing it with something stronger. The most effective way to do that is by creating new, rewarding routines that support your long-term goals. Instead of spending to feel better, act to feel better. Take a walk, call a friend, write down a win from your day. Teach your brain that relief comes from progress, not purchases. One powerful technique is the planned indulgence budget. Set aside a specific amount each month, maybe $50 or $100, just for fun, guilt-free spending. The key: plan it in advance. This keeps you from emotional splurging while still allowing space to enjoy your money intentionally. Another effective strategy is setting visual goals. Whether it's paying off a debt, building an emergency fund, or saving for something meaningful, put it where you can see it. A simple chart, a progress tracker on your fridge, or a pinned reminder on your phone can help anchor your motivation and remind you why you're choosing discipline. Also, shift your identity. Stop saying "I'm trying to save money" and start saying "I'm someone who makes smart financial choices." That small language shift reinforces belief, and belief drives behavior. You're not just changing a habit, you're becoming someone new. Lastly, celebrate progress. Every day you don't give in to the old pattern is a win. Every time you choose clarity over chaos, you reinforce the new you. Momentum builds through repetition, and what starts as a small change becomes a new lifestyle. At the core of real financial change is a mindset shift. Building wealth isn't about luck or earning six figures. It's about how you think, decide, and behave consistently. A wealth mindset means you stop chasing quick wins and start building a stable, powerful foundation one decision at a time. This means learning to delay gratification, to live with less noise and more purpose. It's not about being cheap. It's about being in control. When you no longer need to spend money to feel good, that's real power. That's when your money starts working for you instead of against you. You also need to reprogram limiting beliefs. If you've been telling yourself that you'll always be broke, or that money is evil, stop. Those thoughts aren't just wrong, they're dangerous. They create a self-fulfilling prophecy that holds you back even when opportunities are right in front of you. Wealthy people don't just have money, they have clarity, confidence, and control. They understand that every financial decision is a reflection of how they value their time, energy, and future. And that's available to you too, starting today. So don't underestimate the impact of what you're doing right now. Watching this, reflecting on your patterns, and making one new choice, that's how real transformation begins. It's not magic, it's not luck, it's intention, applied daily. If you made it this far, you're serious about changing your financial life. You now know what the real problem is, and you have the tools to break it. But knowledge means nothing without action. So here's what you do next. Pick one strategy from this video and start today. Not tomorrow, today. If this video helped you, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next step in your journey. We're building a community of people who are taking control of their money. And that includes you. Ready for your next step? Watch this. You're not broke. You're bleeding money. Here's why. In that video, we break down the hidden financial leaks draining your income and how to stop them fast. It's the perfect next move to build on everything you've learned here.